So let's face it, there is at least one person that you work with every single day that you just don't like. You just don't get along with. And my hope for you is that's a person that you don't have to interact with that much. But knowing what I know about workplaces, it is probably a teammate, or maybe it's even your boss. What can you do to manage through your own energy and thoughts and emotions when you have someone that you're working with that you just really don't like? Well, I've got a couple tips for you to consider, and considering them is one thing, but actually practicing them will be a whole other ball game. The first thing that I recommend that you do is, as much as possible while you're working to realign yourself and think differently about your relationship, do what you can to limit your interactions with that person and put some space in between the two of you. And the reason I ask you to do this is because as you're changing your mindset around this person, it'll be a whole lot easier if you don't have to have them on top of you all the time. If that's not possible, then you've got a little bit more of a challenge ahead, but it still doesn't mean that you can't make some magic. So a lot of the things that pretty much actually everything that I'm gonna suggest here and invite you to practice are things that do not involve the other person. So the good news about this is that truly in shifting your own energy, you can shift the energy of the other people that are around you. It doesn't seem like that would be the case, but it is, and I've watched it happen over and over again, both with myself and with my clients. Probably the best way to start, the easiest way to start is, and this is gonna be tough on your ego, is to sit down and make a list of the things that you do like about the person. Your ego is gonna squirm and hate this, but if you will actually take the time to shift your mindset onto things that you like about the person, then you'll start to see the relationship shift as well. You can do anything. It can be that you like the type of shoes that they wear, that you like the way that they have their hair styled. It doesn't have to be anything deep or from the inside. It can be something kind of superficial, but the whole point is just to shift your energetic mindset around that person. So find 5 things that you like about that person, and every single day for 2 to 3 weeks, I would say give yourself a few weeks, maybe even, I always do monthly challenges. So why don't we just say give yourself 30 days, and right when you come into the office or during your lunch break, just jot down on a post-it or in a journal that you have, like what are 5 things that you actually do like about that person. I did this with a client back in my early coaching days and still use it today, but I kept the email that she sent me probably 10 years ago now, where I asked her to do that before she had to go interact with someone that she wasn't really excited about working with. And she did it one time, and she was astonished at how quickly the relationship shifted, and the person she was having a difficult time with came up to her and talked to her and was a lot more friendly and congenial just after her doing it one time. So I think you'll be surprised. I've used this trick many times to get through challenging relationships, both at work and in my personal life as well. So that one is, I would say, it's going to be tough on your ego because you're going to have to go beyond your own personal pride to find those things, but it's a little bit easier to do that than the second thing I'm going to ask you to practice, which is mirror work. Mirror work is basically looking yourself in the mirror and telling yourself that you love yourself and that you forgive yourself, and then bringing in that person as well and saying, I love you and I forgive you, and whatever that person's name is, over and over and over in the mirror. My own personal story of this is I completely healed a relationship that had been not my best relationship, but a very important relationship in my life in a very short amount of time, probably 3 weeks. I saw the person before I started, and then I saw the person after practicing the mirror work for 3 weeks, and my energy towards them was completely different, and the whole relationship shifted. So mirror work is another thing that I recommend. I have a really small mirror that I just pop out and look into every single morning, and again, this is terrifying for your ego, but you will literally start to see a shift in your own energy, and you'll start to have a love for yourself that maybe you didn't have before, and then a care and a love for that other person, to where you can at least get to a place of having compassion for them. So we don't have to necessarily like people or agree with them, but if we can get out of our heads and into our hearts, away from the ego, and focus on caring for them as a human being, then that's going to make for a much better relationship than berating them or secretly hating them or talking bad about them. Those are really the only 2 things I want you to focus on right now. So 5 things that you like and appreciate about the person, and then the mirror work. And as you start to feel your energy shift, I want you to take note of how the relationship is shifting as well. And feel free to find me, reach out to me, and let me know how that has worked for you, because I'm always curious what stories people have of how they've healed themselves and healed relationships. And oftentimes in the workplace, we do have to work with people that we don't like. But if you will take the time to do these practices, I think you will get to a place of feeling a lot more compassion for the people that you work with that maybe you don't like.